Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar. Hey, I have a quick question in the comment section before you guys watch this video. Have you ever noticed how there's probably no real places for kids on the internet anymore? When I was younger, going to places like Neopets, back in the day, RuneScape when it dropped. Not to say RuneScape doesn't exist. I think every guy back in my day in school had a RuneScape account. We all played around on those video games with at home or on the school computers or whatever. When it came to online spaces, I don't really think I entered any public chat room until far into adult teenage years. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I think growing up, it was a little bit different when it came to the internet. Nowadays, I feel like everything that I hear about children having accessible internet-like places, like Roblox, for instance, are so mired in predators that honestly, I really feel for the youth. Where do you guys have anywhere to go to online anymore that isn't riddled with some of the most dangerous people you could find? Not to say when I was growing up that there wasn't creepy people on the internet, okay? But I would say that maybe it was because the internet was kind of newer back then and sort of we were the generation growing up and nobody really kind of dug as deep as they could into it. Nowadays, it seems like everything that I read about Roblox is just mired in predators. To give you an idea of how much shit is going on Roblox, one thing that I haven't talked about for pretty much the year that this has been going on is that there are over 100 lawsuits civilly that are actually being doled out to Roblox. And this involves about hundreds of parents actually wanting Roblox to keep this brought out to the public. So Roblox's strategy has been to file motions to compel arbitration, which basically moves things into the out-of-court world, sort of the private world, where a lot of these things don't go into the public record. So let's say in 100 of these cases, there have been some really fucked up things happening with children who are being predated on. Roblox, from what I see over here legally, and I'm not a lawyer, they want to move this out into a place that's confidential, to make it secretive, to make sure that the stuff doesn't come to public light. But the reality of it is, it seems like Roblox is a platform where I guess predators are just looking for kids on a day-to-day basis. And the reality of it is that Roblox is a platform that has sort of pushed itself, throughout the years. This is sort of kid platform where all of you can jump on. And, my time on Roblox, my experience has always been it's easy to make an account, and I guess it's easy to interact with other players. Now, the general play-by-play for Roblox is obviously a child is playing on some random game, and then immediately what happens is some creepy pervert jumps in, and they basically, move the children from Discord, or sorry, not Discord, from Roblox to a Discord server where they can have more of a communication with them. And that's sort of the pipeline that kind of exists. Now, there's been actual high profile cases. I hate to bring up the Kardashians, but I'm so out of that celebrity matrix. But the reality of it is that I remember back then, one of her kids, Kim's kids, was just sitting on Roblox, and then somebody on Roblox came up to their kid and was selling them the Kim Kardashian sex tape. It was one of the wildest clips that I saw at the time. But aside from the insane absurdity of it, I was this is some random kid who is being sold a video, a sexual video of their own parent, okay? So you can just imagine, obviously, when you have that cross-contamination of adults and minors, things are gonna look pretty bad. Now remember, this is the company where literally a year ago, you had David Baszucki, the CEO of the company, basically going and saying, you know what, man? You know what'd be really cool? If one day we had dating on the platform. Now remember, most people that play Roblox are probably children. Now, the idea was if you're 21 and older, and let's say that you still play Roblox, which there are people, being ID verified, you can find other 21-year-olds and start dating them. On a platform where there's literally apparently thousands upon thousands upon thousands of cases where adults are fucking targeting minors, the last thing I, as the CEO of a company, would ever invest money in is a fucking dating feature, okay? But the idea was, according to the CEO, they would go on dates with other users they've met in the metaverse. And eventually, they could move it from the metaverse to the real verse. I think the whole concept of metaverses is like really fucking cyberpunk and dystopian. The fact that we have to like live in 3D worlds like VR chat and go on fucking dates, I get it for people that are like, you know, incredibly introverted or something, but I find it really weird when we start having these like incredibly intimate relationships without being able to actually know the person in reality or even be able to like, you know, be in contact with them. But all of that aside, I don't think Roblox is the platform that should be considering adding in features that Tinder should be adding into it, okay? Dating and Roblox, okay, should be like oil and fucking water. They do not mix together, okay? Simple as that. Now, obviously, the Senate probing that actually kind of dropped, that it pulled a letter over here. So right over here, the Senate, the federal Senate, is now launching a actual investigation into the child safety on the Roblox platform. So you trumpet Roblox as a safe digital playground for kids as young as 5. I don't think 5-year-olds should be getting access to like tablets and phones, bro. Like, I'm sorry, bro, when you're like drooling and shit, and like you should be playing with like Mega Blocks or something, dog. Like you're 5, okay? You know when I was 5, my mom would sit me down with the other 5-year-olds and we would play with the Mega Blocks in the red cart in the Toronto, like, 4th floor apartment, okay? I would play. I remember this actually, by the way, when I was not like 5, but when I was like 7 or 8, dude, I was playing with this Bangladeshi kid. My mom would just talk to her while we would play in front of them. I don't know why Roblox should be played by 5-year-olds, okay? Should not be getting a smartphone or a tablet and play Roblox, okay? All right? Fucking no. But the public record raises serious question about the promise of safety. Yeah, like I said, over 100 lawsuits. Over the past decade, police have arrested numerous individuals for committing serious acts of violence and harm against children they met via Roblox, including grooming, abuse, kidnapping, and even murder. So again, they said Roblox is being used to trade CSAM, participate in, explicit virtual experiences with children. Remember, this is the place where they had condo experiences, and I talked about this in the past. One of the most disgusting things that Roblox pretty much put a blind eye to was people making these condominiums, these condo servers, where, again, a quick Google search will get you into a condo, so to speak, where you can basically like hump other characters and be like sexually explicit with them in the Roblox universe, okay? This was like pretty much just this open thing that was happening for quite a while. I don't know how much it's happening these days, but when I was looking back into it, the prevalence was actually startling. Bribe and extort children into producing explicit content, basically blackmail kids, because kids are young, they're very like stupid sometimes, and a predator can say, oh, I have access to your webcam. I saw you doing something naughty. Now do something naughtier in order to get away. Some really sick, depraved shit. Not even mentioning the fact, the ability for some of these groomers to be able to send malware to children and gain access to their computer's webcam without these kids really even knowing. It's heartbreaking. In 2025, Roblox reported 65,381 instances of suspected exploitation to the NCMEC, more than double what it reported in 2024. So Roblox appears to prioritize revenue and engagement metrics over the safety and well-being of kids, and the alleged criminal activity on Roblox warrants congressional scrutiny. Accordingly, be advised that Roblox is hereby directed to preserve all records in any format in connection with child safety, physical abuse, child bullying, or child financial exploitation. So we also attach an annex containing document requests. Produce everything no later than August 31st, 2026. So right now, it's not a full investigation, which is why I wanted to make a clarification. This is the Senate sort of jumping in and basically wanting records, wanting information thrown their way. Now, this is a pretty big jump, and the reason why this is a story worth talking about is, as we all know, there's been a lot of discussion with age verification and mass surveillance and all this extra stuff. Roblox is bigger than any of the children playgrounds digitally that we played with as kids. Roblox is like a multi-billion-dollar company that generates a shit ton of money because there's millions of kids that connect into millions of like addictive-ass games, okay, really shit like Steal a Brain Rot, I think it was like Grow Farms or whatever the fuck. there's a lot of games that kids play, games that are larger than entire AAA studio launches these days. And in these games, Roblox has allowed people to create microtransactions that take Robux, and Roblox is sitting back, relaxing, and making a nice juicy cut off of every single one of these transactions. Truly one of the greatest financial stories that I would have seen, you know what I mean? It's like, imagine back in the day when we all bitched at Diablo 3 for having the real money auction house. Roblox is effectively sitting back, owning the house, and making a skim off of every percentage. Crazy shit. So ultimately, they want Roblox's documents regarding the parental account and parental control systems, user research, internal analysis. They want identification verification policies, everything associated. And I think the reality of this is because of the lawsuits that have been sent out to Roblox, I think, and this is my personal belief, I actually think Roblox wasn't doing enough to protect children at the end of the day. So to give you a quick idea of what's been going on, look at where Roblox stock is as of this year to date. Now, Roblox is sitting at $38 per share, which is like 52% lower than what it was at the beginning of the year. And you might be like, but Muda, what is going on here? What made it go all the way from this mega high that we had all the way to nothing? And there's more details to this. Obviously, one of the biggest things is that they don't really have a lot of big popular games that you hear about all over social media anymore. At least I don't. But the other reality of this is, and this is an actual piece that you can see, is that Roblox was kind of forced to implement a lot of these age verification measures because they became the talk of the town for being where all the predators would sort of like commingle and find their next targets. I mean, the fact that this was one game where all the children were there made the predators sort of like surround and say, listen, it's just easy pickings right over here. So ultimately, down into the situation, one analysis like firm that looks into these stocks basically pointed out that one of the biggest things about this is the actual impact that things like age check verifications and safety features have actually had. These began in November 2025. It was revealed on April 30th, 2026, Roblox had a steep deceleration in the year-over-year and subsequent DAU growth, which is daily users. So it slashed its 2026 revenue and it severely cut its 2026 bookings from 24% to just 10%. Effectively, Roblox said that just 51% of its global users age checked, and also said that as a result of age checks, we have seen a reduction in App Store ratings, and we believe this may be contributing to a reduction in organic signups that typically flow from app stores like, iPhone's App Store or like the Google Play Store, so to speak. So effectively, because of the age verification systems that they were forced to basically add, it made the friction of accessing Roblox a lot more difficult. And it is true, right? Like before when I jump into Roblox, like I would just make a random account, wouldn't even be email like verified, but I could immediately start jumping into like account or jumping into games and start conversing with people online. Now, I'm pretty sure Roblox does actually have these features added, not that I necessarily want to go through with any of this age verification because ain't no fucking way David Baszucki or anybody associated is getting access to my personal information for no reason because it's Roblox. I'm like a man in my 30s. I have no reason to engage with this game. But I think that for a lot of people that have to now give their information up, yeah, once you add the friction, less people are going to jump into it. And I don't think Roblox was really knowledgeable on this, but that would involve me being incredibly naive. I actually think that a lot of these like features like age verification are very much fought on, are very much like, I think for Roblox, they kind of knew that if they had to actually put any effort into identifying adult versus minor, that would involve less and less people jumping in. I genuinely do think that based on all of this like showcasing itself in 2026, that I feel like Roblox really wanted all of this stuff to just be as hidden as they can, so that they never have to implement these features to begin with. And because now they have to implement these features, obviously we realize Roblox isn't going to be as successful as it's going to be. And honestly, I don't know, man, given the trend, I don't think that Roblox has any chance of being around. And if it is around, it's not going to be the massive platform that we honestly once saw that it was, right? It's a crazy thing to be seeing. Roblox because of government scrutiny and a lot of these age verification systems, has actually been spanked into oblivion. Now, here's the thing about this whole situation. As much as I don't like Roblox, and as much as I think that Roblox spent years ignoring this very clear problem of child abuse and grooming, I don't think the United States Senate actually even gives a shit about the children, even in this case. I think Roblox is being used primarily as sort of this point that they can bring up where, hey, listen, the internet is super duper dangerous. And I'm sure if there is a proper investigation, which it should be down the road, given the fact that they want all this paperwork by August 30th, I'm sure the US government is going to look through paperwork and probably see severe negligence, or maybe some executives talking amongst each other on email saying, maybe we should try to ignore this stuff as much as we can. Look, I don't think it's not that Roblox is malicious and evil and wanted to harm every child on their platform, but they're also a business, right? And the business's ultimate goal is to keep growing and growing and growing. I'm sure that an executive at Roblox probably had a message between each other where they were like, listen, as much as we want to protect the kids, guys, if we implement age verification and any level of friction, we could fuck ourselves financially. And if that comes out, then I guess, yes, at the end of the day, it shows that a company cares more about its profit than obviously the kids. And that's no shock to anybody. But I think it's going to be used as a way for at least the government to push more and more age verification, more and more verification in general, just to access, right? Because if it comes out that because of these things that there was a general downtrend on actual grooming, which I think mathematically would correlate because less users themselves, probably going to lead to less, just having basic verification probably does make it a little bit difficult to groom somebody on a platform like this. Going from difficulty 1 to even difficulty 4 probably cuts things down pretty tremendously. And I think it's because of this that the government will use it as a case example and say, hey, maybe we should start implementing this on other platforms. Maybe it should be on Fortnite. Maybe it should be on any other online game out there. To me, I think the end goal of this will probably be that when it comes to closed platforms like PlayStation or Xbox or, even Steam to an extent too, I think it's going to be an interesting case where the government eventually tries creating a law where it says, hey, in order to even launch these games or download them, you need to provide some level of age verification, right? I think that's really where we're getting into. Roblox is just sort of the sacrificial lamb in the progress of again, mass global surveillance, mass internet checks. I think this is where it's kind of come out to. Roblox, I think, is actually finished. I don't really see Roblox turning it around, given the fact that it's slashed so hard already, and the fact that the government is going to put an even bigger eye on the fact that Roblox has such a child grooming problem. And if it even comes out that Roblox wasn't putting any effort in, or really a lack of real proper effort over the years, I think that'll actually probably kill the fucking company. I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic here. I don't see the turnaround, But anyways, yeah, it's crazy shit. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.